Once again, welcoming you all to physics class by Jyoti Kumar sir. I hope everyone are preparing well at your home for better for getting good marks in examinations as well as all those. Okay, guys, this is our last topic regarding our wave optics. So till now we discussed the properties of interference and diffraction. So interference is superimpose of two coherent sources, whereas diffraction is bending of light across the obstacle. So these are the two topics we already completed, and based on that few problems we are also discussed. Now we are going to discuss one more topic or one more phenomena exhibited by the light, and that one we will call it as polarization. Polarization. Okay, guys. Now, first of all, we will just make a cross check about the history. Then after we will discuss the furthermore part. Okay. So here, interference and diffraction we were discussed based on the concept of Huygens wave theory of light. Interference and diffraction. Okay, these two are Huygens wave theory of light. Okay. But polarization we are discussing based on Maxwell's electromagnetic theory. Okay, why Maxwell's electromagnetic? Why not Huygens wave theory? Okay, guys. So why Maxwell has proposed electromagnetic theory means it is having few failures. Okay, so Huygens wave theory of light is having few failures. Huygens wave theory. Okay, failures. What are those failures, guys? First of all, non-existence of ether medium. Okay, so Huygens has proposed that the whole universe is completely filled with highly elastic and low density medium called as ether. But scientists, there is no proof that either medium is existed. So non-existence of either medium is the one of the major failure of Huygens wave theory. The next one is he proposed light propagates in the form of longitudinal waves. Okay, but so many experiments has proved that light propagates in the form of transverse waves. So Huygens has proposed that light moves in the form of longitudinal waves like this. But so many experiments has proved that light propagates in the form of transverse waves. Okay, so based on these two conditions, Maxwell has proposed his wave theory, electromagnetic theory of light. Okay, guys. Now the point is, one more failure is also there for Huygens wave theory. It is in not explained polarization. Okay, unable to explain polarization and unable to explain polarization and photoelectric effect. Okay, these are the so these all are the things. Okay, Huygens wave theory of light failures. Okay, non-existence of either medium. He proposed light He proposed light propagates in form of longitudinal waves and unable to explain polarization and photoelectric effect. Okay, guys. So, but Maxwell has proposed all this. Of course, he also not explained the photoelectric effect, but he changed that. Thomas Young, based on the Thomas Young's experiment, Huygens got a info, or he changed his idea that light is not in the longitudinal waves. Okay, now how this okay, so first of all, Maxwell's electromagnetic theory. Maxwell's electromagnetic theory. Okay, what is this Maxwell's electromagnetic theory? And Maxwell proposed that accelerating charges produce electromagnetic waves. Accelerating charges produces electromagnetic waves. Okay, so what is this? I mean, they contain, I mean, what they contain? They containing mutually perpendicular, they contain mutually perpendicular time varying sinusoidal electric and magnetic fields. Propagating in the direction of light. Propagating perpendicular in the direction of light. Okay, so they contain mutually perpendicular time varying sinusoidal waves of electric and magnetic fields propagating perpendicular in the direction of light. Okay, so what is this time varying magnetic and electric fields? Okay, so that we are, so due to time's lack of space, I am erasing this, guys. Okay, once again I will show you very perfectly, no issue. Okay, so you can observe this. If this is the direction of light ray, okay, so this is the direction of light ray, like this. Okay, now the perpendicular one is called as a electric field and horizontal one is called as a magnetic field. Perpendicular one electric and this one is magnetic. Okay, so these two are mutually perpendicular to each other and these two are also perpendicular to the propagation of light. This time varying sinusoidal waves will give rise to a electromagnetic wave. This is what he proposed. Okay, and he proposed, we discussed so many things based on the electromagnetic wave theory in previous classes, and I have given a detailed note, so if you go through that you can get a clear idea what we discussed. Now we will observe how this time varying sinusoidal waves will work out. Okay, okay, hope you all understood, guys. Okay, this is how our Maxwell has proposed his electromagnetic theory. Okay, so he explained the refraction and reflection, diffraction, everything very perfectly. So, and we already have a detailed view, so we don't need to once again discuss those. And what the properties not discussed, those we will discuss in today's class. Okay, so polarization means what? Polarization means we already observed just now. The light waves, I mean, whatever the electric vector and magnetic vector are there, they are vibrating perpendicular to each other. Is it right? So here, this is our light ray. Okay, so this is a sinusoidal electric wave. Okay, and this is our sinusoidal magnetic wave. Okay, now here, what do you mean by the word polarization? What do you mean by the word polarization, guys? Here, restricting the restricting these vectors into one single direction, restricting the time varying sinusoidal waves into one direction is called polarization. Okay, so I mean we are making the light should be, I mean light should be vibrate either like this or like this. Okay, so this is a unpolarized light. This is what, guys? Unpolarized light. Unpolarized light. But this is a plain polarized light. Plain polarized light. Okay, so here the polarization, restricting the time varying sinusoidal waves into one direction is called as polarization. We are having how many, guys? Two types of, I mean, of course, both will be represented as similar only. Okay, unpolarized light, and this is a plain polarized light. So how to represent it? See, guys, I mean, in very simple ways. Okay, so this can be represented as a unpolarized light. This is what, guys? Unpolarized light. Okay, now how to make, I mean, the polarized light here, this can be, I mean, we can't represent, this is a 3D object. This is a 3D object, and in view of 2D we are going to discuss. Yeah, so this is a, okay, now here, so we may resolve the electric vector, into two rectangular components. Okay, we may resolve the electric vector into two rectangular components. One is parallel. Okay, two rectangular components. One is parallel and one is perpendicular. Okay, so parallel. So this is a 3D representation of a unpolarized light. So every time we can't go for the 3D na. So the in 2D we are changing the light as one parallel and one perpendicular. Okay, how parallel? I mean, the whatever the electric field is there, it will be resolved into two rectangular components. Okay, so first one is represented, I mean, one parallel one is represented arrowheads like this. Okay, and one is perpendicular is represented with the dots. Clear, guys? Parallel vector electric field is represented with arrows, and perpendicular vector is represented with the dots. So a unpolarized light is a combination of arrows and dots. Clear, guys? So if only arrows is there, it is called as parallel vector. If only dots are there, it is a perpendicular vector. If only arrows is there or only dots is there, it is also called as what, guys? Plain polarized light. Plain polarized light. Okay, so here the whatever the light we are observing, I mean this is a, I mean the whatever the light coming from the tube light or electric bulb or a headlight of a automobiles, this all containing what? Unpolarized light. Okay, if you restrict the lights to a one single direction, it is called as plain polarized light. Okay, so we can't represent always with respect to 3D dimension. So we are changing the representation orientation here, and this is a the whole electric vector is classified into two rectangular components. One is parallel vector, one is perpendicular vector. Parallel vector is represented with arrows. Perpendicular vector is represented as dots. Okay, if a wave, if a light which consisting of arrows and dots means it is called as unpolarized light. Unpolarized light. Where with only arrows and dots, it is called as plain polarized light. Okay, guys. Hope you understood the what is the difference. I mean, how to represent the uh, polarized light and unpolarized light. Okay, guys. So in polarization, we are going to discuss mainly 5 topics. First one is what is polarization? Polarization. What is polarization? This is first content. Second one is uh, terms in polarization. Okay, and third one is polarities. Okay, fourth one is Malus law, and the fifth one is Brewster's angle. Okay, so these all are the 5 topics we are going to discuss in today's class. Of course, the polarization topic we just completed right now, it is restricting the light to single plane, restricting the light oscillations of the light or vibrating vibrations into one single plane is called as polarization. Terms in the polarization. So parallel waves or which are vibrating vertically. So you can see these are the parallel vector. This is a parallel vector or vertical vector. This is called as what, guys? Parallel vector or vertical vector. Okay. In a light wave, I mean electromagnetic waves, when comparing to electric field, sorry, when comparing to magnetic field, electric field will be more prominent. Okay, so anything we will discuss with respect to the electric field only. Okay, that's the reason electric field plays a very vital role, and here the oscillations are also considered to be electric, and the oscillation of electric will be in the 3 dimensions, and here the vertical oscillations are called as parallel vector or vertical vector, and horizontal oscillations, so like this, horizontal oscillations are called as perpendicular vector or horizontal vector. Okay, these parallel vector or vertical vector is represented as arrows, and perpendicular vector or horizontal vector is represented as dots. Okay guys, so parallel vector or vertical vector is represented as arrows, and perpendicular vector or horizontal vector are represented as dots. Okay guys, now coming to the next one more point here. The plane in which oscillation occurs in the polarized light is called plane of oscillations. The plane in which oscillations occur. For example, I just said now, so when if this is a light and here this is the propagation or the waves is there, this is called as what? Plane of oscillations. Plane of oscillations. Okay, now if I keep a polaroid here, so I just kept the a vertical polaroid. Polaroid means which will obstruct the horizontal. Only it will allow vertical waves only. Horizontal and other all it will restrict. Okay, so the plane which is perpendicular to the polaroid, it is called as plane of polarization. Plane of polarization. Okay, here the topic is very simple, Nana. So this is particles are vibrating. Okay, this is called as plane of oscillation. Here a polaroid is there. Okay, to that perpendicularly these oscillating waves are propagating. This is called as plane of polarization. Okay, so I will show you clearly here. You can just observe. Okay, yeah. So here you can observe very clearly, guys. Yeah, fine. Okay. So here, guys. So I already said now, light propagates as a transverse electromagnetic waves. Okay, magnitude of electric field is much compared to the magnitude of magnetism. We generally prefer to describe light as electric field and unpolarized light. The light having electric fields oscillation in all directions. Okay, now these direction. I mean, I already said here direction of. Okay, so vertical oscillation is. I mean arrows with vertical oscillation, dot with the horizontal oscillations. Okay, so now the plane in which oscillations occur in the polarized light is called as plane of oscillation. Okay, here you can see this is a plane of oscillation. Plane of oscillation. I mean after polarization, uh, a single. I mean I already said now all the light rays will restrict to the single point. That's the reason that is called as what, guys? Plane of oscillation. And the plane to the perpendicular to the plane of oscillation is called as plane of polarization. Okay, so once again I'm showing here. See, okay, so this is what, guys? This is a plane of oscillation. And to this, I mean here the waves were went off or not horizontal waves. Like you can see horizontal waves are there. Those waves were eliminated now. That is called as plane of polarization. Okay, so these are the topics very important here. You can, I hope you understood very clearly. Now we will go to the next topic. Okay, polarids. What do you mean by the word polarid? Polarid is a thin film sheet. When unpolarized passes through that, it will gives you polarized light. Okay, so for better understanding I have shown you clearly. So this is a polarid sheet. Okay, I already said now before, it is a plane of oscillation. This is called as plane of oscillation. This is plane of oscillation. And the horizontal one is there now, that is plane of polarization. Okay, now it is a device used to produce plain polarized light, or it is based on the principle of selective absorption. I mean it will observe only selective electric fields. Okay, so here this I mean how, I mean when you can observe here dots are there. Okay, so I'm going to explain here, you can check. Okay, okay guys, now you can able to check here. Okay guys, you can able to check here. So this is a unpolarized light. This is a unpolarized light. Okay, okay, whenever it passes through the whenever it passes through, this is a vertical, this is a vertical polaroid. Whenever it passes through the vertical polaroid, it will give, it will allows only vertical. You can able to see this is a what, plain polarization. This is now here if you clearly observe that here the dots is not present. But if the same one, same unpolarized light, okay, when passes through the horizontal polaroid, we can able to see only lights. Okay, okay guys, here if you clearly observe, that the vertical one, so vertical one where absent or not here, vertical, that is called as plane of polarization, plane of polarization. Okay, and horizontal one, it is called a plane of oscillation. Here vertical one are called as plane of oscillation, and horizontal one are called as plane of polarization. Okay, so whenever it passes through the respective, polarities, their their uh, their relative oscillations will be removed and restricting all the oscillations to one single direction. This is called as polarization. Okay, so polarities, okay, for better understanding I will show you practically, guys. I will so are you ready to observe practically? Yeah, so just observe. Okay guys, so these are called as the polarity sheets, guys. Okay, now the light from the any source we call it as what, unpolarized light. This is a unpolarized light. Okay, so it is having more glare, but you can see when its polarity sheet is produced, just kept, you can see the glareness reduced or not. I mean, it is restricting the light to the one single direction. Okay, you can observe very more clearly. Yeah, so right now also we can observe, it is reduced glare. But when we keep two sheets, the glare is still reduced, and when we rotate those at for particular angles, so initially one is horizontal, one is, I mean, both are horizontal, so we got it allowed without any problem. But when one is vertical and one is horizontal, you can observe here. Yeah, so here one is vertical, one is horizontal, due to which it does not allow any light to pass through it. That's the reason the completely polarized light we got it. Okay, and whenever we rotating the angle, there is a variation or not. Yes, so you can see glare. Yeah, this is with normal. some more illumination you can observe. Okay, hope you understood, guys. Yeah. Okay, this is how, yeah, so this is how the plane polarization helps. This is how the polarization helps in getting the polarities are help in getting the polarized light. Okay, guys, now if you clearly observe that, so whenever two vertical components are there, okay, two vertical components, we are getting the polarized light which is oscillating perpendicularly, but one is vertical, one is horizontal, means no light will be emitted out. Okay, so now sir, what is the next? So Malus law in the sheet, I mean the board I said na, what is that, guys? So we are having the Malus law. I mean whatever the light which pass, I mean when unpolarized passes through the polarity sheet, its intensity will become half of the initial. Okay, how it will become initially, I mean half of the initial. Okay, guys, now we will observe. Okay, so just a moment, I will start. Okay, so Malus law, this law states that intensity of the polarized light transmitting through the analyzer varies as the square of the cosine of the angle between the plane of transmission of analyzer and the plane of polarizer. Okay, guys, so here the very simple, Nana, the last states that intensity of polarized light transmitted through the analyzer varies as the square of the cosine of the angle between the plane of transmission of analyzer and plane of polarizer. So here theta is the angle, so theta is the angle between, this is a polarizer and the analyzer. Analyzer is a another glass which will collect the polarized light. Analyzer is a device which will collect the polarized light. Okay, now the intensity, I mean the formula they given as, okay, so the formula they given as I is equal to I naught cos square theta. Okay, so why I is equal to I? Sir, we already know now I is equal to 4 I naught cos square pi by 2. That is with respect to Huygens wave theory of light. But we are this is with respect to the Maxwell's electromagnetic theory. So I is equal to I naught cos square theta. Okay, where theta is the angle between the analyzer and polarizer. Okay, now whole component. See, the light is spreading equally. I mean, the unpolarized light is spreading equally in all the directions or not? Like this, it is. But we are. It is restricting to only one single direction. Okay, so if you clearly observe that, what I am doing is I am integrating to the whole. This light is it is dispersing equally in all directions. So what I am doing is one simple logic. I am considering I average. The intensity, the output is I average. I average is equal to 0 to 2 pi. I mean 0 to 2 pi. Whole throughout the circle it is having a 0 to 2 pi. I naught cos square theta by 2 pi. Okay, the whole by, I mean this is the, when I integrate I am getting the whole area of this 360 degree, and when I divided with the 2 pi we are getting the average intensity, it is 11. Okay, so now coming to the next point, cos square theta. So in this I naught is constant, so we can keep it outside. So we can, what we get is I naught 0 to 2 pi cos square theta d theta by 2 pi. Okay, guys, now coming to the point here. Okay, so just keep this point, we may go to the top next. Okay, so we already know that cos square theta directly we can't do. For that, we are using some identities. We already know first identity: sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Okay, sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Okay, now from this, what we can able to write, guys, cos square theta is equal to 1 minus sine square theta, or sine square theta is equal to cos square theta, 1 minus cos square theta. Now what we can able to write? Yeah, of course, yeah, sine square theta is equal to 1 minus cos square theta. Okay, now what is one more? Cos 2x is equal to, or cos 2 theta, cos 2 theta is equal to cos square theta minus sine square theta. These are the formulas, Nana. Okay, cos 2 theta is equal to cos square theta minus sine square theta. But sine square theta, we can write it as cos 2 theta is equal to cos square theta minus 1 minus sine square theta, sorry, cos square theta. Okay, now this cos 2 theta can be written as 2 cos square theta minus 1. Okay, from this we can write here cos square theta is equal to cos square theta is equal to, we can write this as 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2. So instead of cos 2 theta, what I'm substituting, cos square theta, I'm substituting 1 plus cos 2 theta plus by 2. Okay, so I can write here I average is equal to integration of 0 to, I naught 0 to 2 pi and 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2 and whole by 2 pi. Okay, Nana. Now this I naught by 2 pi, keep it outside. I naught by 2 pi. I naught by 2 pi. And integration of 1 by 2 is nothing but how much, guys? Theta by 2. And I'm separating theta by 2, 2 pi. And here it is 0. Okay. Now, one more whole bracket. Plus cos 2 theta, we are having sine 2 theta and into 2. Okay, by 2 pi 0. This is the whole bracket. These two will get cancelled, and we already know that sine 2 pi. So 2 pi is, multiple of 2 pi, it is always 0. So this whole term will also be equal to 0. Sine 0, sine 2 pi, sine 4 pi, it is all equal to how much, guys? 0. So this whole term is 0. So we can write this as I naught by 2 pi into what we can able to write, 2 pi minus 0 by 2. This two will get cancelled. What we left is I naught 2 pi into pi, which is equal to I naught by 2. Okay, so the intensity after polarization is how much, guys? It will be half of the value. When a unpolarized light or in I naught unpolarized light passes through the polarity, we will get I naught by 2 only. Okay, so here this is what the Malus law said. What it is, Nana? I is equal to I naught cos square theta. I is equal to I naught cos square theta, where I naught is the intensity of unpolarized light. Okay, and this is after polarization. It is after polarization. Okay, after polarization we are getting how much? I naught by 2. Okay, so this is what is called as Malus law. Okay, hope you understood. Okay, so this is how the Malus law, it is nothing but I is equal to I naught cos square theta If a analyzer is there, and still it will be cos square theta. I know, I mean, so you can, I'm just showing here, you can observe. Okay guys, so for a unpolar, I mean, intensity after analyzer also, okay, after analyzer I can be written as I naught, or simply I naught cos square theta 1 cos square theta 2. If you keep one more, we can get one more. So if n polarizers are there, we need to write it as theta 1 theta 2 theta 3 so on. Okay, where I naught is the, I mean, for I naught cos square theta by 2 is what guys, I is equal to I naught by 2 cos square theta by 2. See here, sir, what is this theta 1 and what is this theta 2? Now here, whenever light passes through the first polarizer, it somehow it loses certain intensity. Is it right? So here, the light passes. Like this. Okay, it contains only, I mean, it is a vertical one. It allows only vertical rays. And immediately I'm having one more polarization in which horizontal ones is there. So we are getting a plain, completely plain polarizer light. I mean, light will not come out. Light won't come out. Okay. Now for this, what is the formula? We can write this as the formula for this is can be written as I naught cos square theta for this. Okay, this value is only I naught by 2. If the same light when passes through this, we can write this as I naught cos square theta 1 theta 2, or we can write this as I naught by 2 cos square theta, where theta is the angle of the analyzer, angle of the analyzer. When theta is equal to, I mean, if there is no, I mean, if this is vertical and this is also vertical, light will be allowed without, I mean, you will get the same value I naught by 2. Okay, if, I mean, theta 1 is, I mean, if theta 2 is equal to 0, the light will, I mean, same like analyzer, so it will completely allows the light without any problem. But if you rotate, if theta 2 is equal to 90 degrees, it won't allow the light. Light is not allowed. Light is not allowed. Theta 2 is equal to 180, light is allowed. And theta 2 is equal to 270, once again light will be not allowed. In 0 and 180 light will be allowed, and 90 and 270 light will not be allowed. Okay, so this is what the concept of polarity. Hope you all understood. Okay, now moving to the next topic, that is Brewer's test. So Brewer's law is nothing but tangent of the, I mean, the refractive index of a media is equal to the tangent of the Brewer's angle. Okay, so here the Brewster is a scientist who discovered when a beam of unpolarized light reflects from a transparent media, the reflected light is completely plane polarized at a certain angle of incidence called as angle of polarization. Okay, and he also stated that mu is equal to tan theta of P. What is this mu is equal to tan theta of P? Okay guys, I'm explaining here, you can observe. The concept here is very simple. Okay, so I hope everyone can able to see. Now here guys, this is a transparent surface, for example, and when an unpolarizer falls on it. Okay, so here we already know that some part of the light will undergo reflection. Okay guys, if the this is a transparent surface, and when unpolarized light, okay, when unpolarized, this is a unpolarized light, okay, whenever it is incident on a transparent sheet, so here it will gives us plain polarized light when the angle between reflected and refracted ray is 90 degrees. So this is partially polarized. Okay, so where this is a partially polarized. Partially polarized means like this. Only some components, but this is a plain polarized. And what is the condition when the angle between reflected and refracted rays is 90 degree? At that time only it will gives us what plain polarized light. Okay, so the reflected light is, I mean, what are the main points we need to remember, guys? Reflected light is plain polarized. Okay, that is first point. And next, refracted ray, second one is we discussed. Refracted ray is partially polarized. Okay, and coming to third one, reflected and reflected, I mean reflected and refracted are perpendicular to each other. Okay, just we discussed it. Okay, okay, and here we all direct one, I mean we can observe that this is a plain polarized light. That means it contains only either arrows or either dots, but here, I mean, the intensity of refracted ray is more when compared to reflected ray. Why, guys? You can observe here, the whatever the reflected rays, it is having either only dots or either only arrows, but it is having a combination of dots and arrows. That's the reason the intensity of the perpendicular is refracted ray is very high. Okay, these are the main points you should remember. And the last one is okay, so last one is, we will call it as mu is equal to tan theta p, where theta p is called as angle of polarization. Theta p is called as angle of polarization. How this formula is obtained? Okay, we already know that mu is equal to sine I by sine r, where r is equal to I is equal to angle of incidence and r is equal to angle of refraction. Okay, guys, now I am going to write I is equal to capital R. Here R is nothing but angle of reflection. So we already know that R plus 90 is equal to how much, guys? 180. From this we can write here R is equal to, R is equal to 90 minus refraction is equal to 90 minus R. We already know that I is equal from angle of incidence is equal to angle of refraction. So I is equal to R. From that we can write R is equal to 90 minus I. So we can write here mu is equal to sine I by sine of 90 minus R, or 90 minus I. So we can write this as mu is equal to sine I by cos I, which is called as tan I is equal to mu. So this this I we can write it as how guys? This I only we can write it as tan theta. This I is only tan theta p is equal to mu. So theta p is nothing but angle of polarization, and theta p for water is equal to, for water, theta p for water, how much guys? It is tan inverse 4 by 3, tan inverse 4 by 3. Oh sorry, it is not getting visible. Okay, I hope you all understood here. Now for first of all, for water, theta p is equal to tan inverse 4 by 3. Okay, so this is equal to 53 degrees. And for glass, theta p is equal to tan inverse 3 by 2, so which is equal to 57 degrees. Okay, so these all are the formulas for the for what we call Brewster's law. Okay, the last topic here, the next coming one is how to obtain the plane polarized. If you clearly observe that this is an unpolarized light, when it passes through the incident on a plane surface or transparent surface, it undergoes reflection and diffraction. So whenever the reflected ray is plane polarized, whereas refracted one is partially polarized. When this partially polarized passes through the a special device, and that special device is called as plane of piles. Okay, so a pile of plates. Separate device called as what guys? Pile of plates. When the light, when this partially polarized light passes through that pile of plates, we will get plane polarized light. Right now you will observe, I will show you how this pile of plates is going to work. Okay, a pile of plate is nothing but very simple guys. So you can see these are separated. Okay, glass pieces, separated glass piece, and when the partially polarized light passes through the, okay, so it will get separated at every moment. It will separate the plane polarized light like this. Okay, and here unpolarized light like this. And this device we will call it as pile of plates. Okay, so these are the this is all about your what guys? Polarization concept. Okay, and hope you all understood. Okay, so so mainly the questions will be based on the Malus law as well as Brewster's law. Okay, so those questions are very simple, and we will discuss in this today's doubt session. Okay, hope you guys understood. Have a nice day. Take care everyone. Okay.